should not be confused as the same. Okay, that would seem to be a problem with feminism. So if feminism means that no, women can be rabbis, women can be running the show, or whatever it is, then yeah, then there's no room for feminism in Judaism. What does that have to do with Zelovchad? The children of Zelovchad weren't trying to become men, right? They had a situation where their father died and he didn't have any sons. Why shouldn't they get the inheritance? They're not... If you wanted to show that there's that what I said about feminism not having a place in Torah, and you wanted to bring a raya to show that I was wrong, then you would need to bring a case where a man had sons and daughters, and he died, and the girls argued that they deserved half. But that's not what happened. There's no cases of that. That would be a case. That would be bringing me a proof, right? That the Torah treats them the same. But there wasn't that. There were no sons. So what's the money going to do? Is it going to go to the government and give it to a bunch of starving black kids in Darfur? You know, what are you going to do with the money? Where does the money go to, right? You know what I'm saying? So the girls said, you know, the money should come to us in that case. So that's fine.
Can I pull up a browser for a point I want to make?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I've got it. Go ahead. Finish with you. Go ahead and say what you're saying.
Here, you can have a tab.
Thanks.
And that's it. I just said my whole piece.
So there's a new book out about the history of Jerusalem.
Okay.
And I guess it's a fascinating history book. And I want to recommend it. I read about it in the New York Times Book Review. And it talks about basically the 3,000 years of the history of Jerusalem. And like a lot of really bloody stuff, and but absolutely fascinating reading. And it's written by this British bloke named Simon Sebag Montefiore, and it's Jerusalem's bloody history since King David, and absolutely fascinating book. And can you carry the show for a minute while I find my place?
Yeah, I was just going to say I'm looking at the game just to let everybody know what's going on, right?
Yeah.
I'm in a pool. And in my pool, I win it this weekend if and only if the Chiefs win and the total score is 32 or lower.
Yeah.
Right now the Chiefs are winning, but the total score is moving up too quickly. We're in the third quarter, and it's 13-9, which is a total of 22. I only have 10 more points to spare the rest of the game. Kansas City's winning 13-9, right?
Right.
But if Kansas City wins and the score goes up to 33, I lost. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, so I found a thought in this book review which has just been staying with me for the past few days. I just can't get it out of my mind.
Okay.
So the paragraph is, Montefiore, the author of 2 books on Joseph Stalin and another on Prince Potemkin, has a fine eye for the telling detail, also a powerful feel for a good story. So much so that his vastly enjoyable chronicle at times has a quasi-mythic aspect. He cheerfully borrows snippets of scripture, legends, and dubious eyewitness accounts, weaving them into his larger narrative. Can I just finish my point?
Yeah, I just want to see if Esther's still in the room. Okay, keep going.
So what if Herod's genitals didn't really explode with maggots? All will be set right in the footnote, though you may forget about the scholarship while reading how the former showgirl, Empress Theodora of Byzantium, is said to be gymnastically gifted orgiast.
What's that word?
Orgiast, whose specialty was to offer all 3 orifices to her clients simultaneously. So this is in the New York Times Book Review, so I'm not just talking filth.
Oh, because the New York Times.
This is the New York Times Book Review. This is a very prestigious, and this is about a book on the history of Jerusalem. So Jerusalem's a very holy city, and it's very important to Jews and to Judaism as well as to Christianity and Islam. And in the history of Jerusalem, many of you forget about the former showgirl, that Empress Theodora of Byzantium. She was like a totally gymnastically gifted orgiast whose specialty was to offer all 3 orifices to a client simultaneously. So how did she do that? I guess she kind of leaned over that way. And so I guess
then you
like
wonder,
her mouth
now
was
you wonder,
down here. So like all three just like lined up. Like I've been with a lot of women.
yeah, and you wonder
And
why.
we've done a lot of things, but I've never had a woman offer me all three orifices simultaneously.
And you wonder why Esther's father would not be happy with you and her together.
I just love history. I love the history of Jerusalem in particular. And I've always had this fascination with the Empress Theodora of Byzantium, who was a gymnastically gifted orgiast whose specialty was to offer all three orifices to a client simultaneously.
We heard it 3 times. We heard it 3.
Holy Toledo. Why can't I ever meet a woman like that?
Esther's still in the chat. You're spending too much money, hon. You're spending too much money per minute on this. Well, let me see what the chat guys say, okay? No, we're pretty equal. Yes, exactly. Bleb, nailed it. If they were equal, they could be rabbis. What do you win? Blah, blah. Okay, Rabs, what would happen if Benoslav could happen nowadays in the black hat communities? Would they not be dismissed as left-wing wackos? No, they would not. It's not. Left-wing, no. The whole idea, Abes, of when they've crossed the line is when they try to do something that's only for men. Okay? But the question in the Chumash that took place was a great question. Because it was a question that took place, what do you do when there are no men? What do you do? Right? And that was legit. That was a legit question. They wouldn't. I don't think they'd be looked today as wackos at all. You know, Yerushalayim really is important to Muslims, right? Kahani Chai.
It would be important if they knew there was a gymnastically talented orgiast there who could offer all three orifices to a client simultaneously. Then you'd know it would be important. Once that word gets out.
I want a private message.
Okay, folks, so this week's Torah portion is Lekh Lekha, which is the third Torah portion in the book of Genesis. And I'm Levi ben Abraham, aka Luke Ford.
I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, we just hit send.
I don't know how to screw it.
And
Okay.
so Rabbi's distracted by a teenage girl while I'm trying to like elevate the conversation here.
Yeah. Okay.
So, do you have anything else?
No, you want to do the Parsha?
Yeah.
Or do you have anything else you want to bore us with?
You find a woman who can offer you all three of her orifices simultaneously. You find that boring?
I don't think it necessarily has anything to do with our show.
It happened in Jerusalem.
Okay.
Okay, so this week's Torah portion, Lekh Lekha, which means move, get out, right?
Get going.
Get going.
Yeah, so let's get... Here, I'll do it. Let go. First of all, get rid of that. Go.
Okay. Okay, sports fans. Genesis chapter 12 to Genesis 17. So, Abraham comes on the scene in this week's Torah portion. So, Jews are not known as the descendants of Noah, even though we are, but we're known as the children of Abraham. So, what makes Abraham so special? And like among his many good qualities, there's one that doesn't get a lot of talk, and that's tenacity. You know, Abraham battled through a lot of stuff, but he always he was tenacious. He always stuck to his program, to his ideals, to God. And so in good times and bad, he hung in there. So if you can just commit to things, you can have a lot of success in life. And Abraham is a great example of commitment.
I want to say also that Abraham lived at a time when nobody believed in God.
Yeah.
They were all idol worshippers. Everyone around him was an idol worshipper. They built idols. There's a famous story about him and his father. Do you know about that?
Yeah.
His father.
Everyone knows that one.
Everybody knows that one. I'll just say it anyways. That his father owned And idol stores.
Yeah.
Dad made idols for a living right here on Pico.
Yeah, some of them off at all three orifices.